So what do we have going on here in the United States now? Well, Carolyn Glick has a great article, column 1, The Left Against Zion. She talks, and this is from December 19th, she says, this week has been a big one for the anti-Israel movement. In the space of a few days, 2 quasi-academic organizations, the American Studies Association and the Native American and Indigenous Studies Association, have launched boycotts against Israeli universities. Their boycotts follow a similar one announced in April by the Asian Studies Association. These groups' actions have not taken place in isolation. They are apiece with ever-escalating acts of anti-Israel agitation in college campuses throughout the United States. And I would interject, it is sickening and incredible to me to see anti-Semitism growing just the way it did before the 1930s and 1940s, when over 6 million Jews were mercilessly, brutally killed. And we're seeing it arise. When I learned about the Holocaust, and when I've been to Germany, when I've learned and read and seen, I could never imagine. Thank God we could never have that happen during my lifetime. And now I'm watching the seeds of anti-Semitism, of anti-Israel, of people wanting to wipe them off the map, of those who are proposing another Holocaust. And then we have pseudo-intellectual wannabes at universities where they no longer allow true diversity of thought and discussion that made them originally great, which allowed them originally to have liberals there get in charge, and now they cut off so often conservative speech. Used to be in universities, even as conservative as Texas A&M was when I was there, we had many liberal speakers, and I enjoyed meeting and debate. But in Carolyn Glick's article, she points out every week brings a wealth of stories about new cases of aggressive anti-Israel activism. At the University of Michigan last week, thousands of students were sent fake eviction notices from the university's housing office. A pro-Palestinian group distributed them in dorms across campus to disseminate the blood libel that Israel is carrying out mass expulsions of Palestinians. At Swarthmore College, leftist anti-Israel Jewish students who control Hillel are insisting on using Hillel's good offices to disseminate and legitimate anti-Israel slanders. And the left's doctrinaire insistence that Israel is the root of all evil is not limited to campuses. At New York's 92nd Street Y, commentary editor John Podhoretz was booed and hissed by the audience for trying to explain why the ASA's just announced boycott of Israel was an obscene act of bigotry. It's a great article. I don't have time to read it all, but she points out that this week Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz retired after 50 years on the law faculty. His exit the same week as the ASA and the NAISA announced their boycotts of Israeli universities symbolized the marginalization of the pro-Israel left that Dershowitz represented. For years, Dershowitz has been a non-entity in leftist circles. His place at the table was usurped by anti-Israel Jews like Peter Beinart, and now Beinart is finding himself increasingly challenged by anti-Semitic Jews like Max Blumenthal. The progression is unmistakable, and people need to wake up and understand this kind of thing has all happened before. And when people don't recognize it, it happens again in history. And God help us that it doesn't happen while our generation is in charge. But as these growing acts of anti-Semitism, anti-Israel continue to progress by so-called progressives, making it seem as if this is another apartheid like in South Africa that was so unfair, racially so wrong in South Africa, it got corrected. This is not the same thing at all. This is a group of people who have been persecuted throughout their history, having a country where they have a longer history of right to that area than any other people existing today. And yet, as universities, the so-called left, become more loud and more vocal in their hatred and anger, I've wondered if Iran dropped a nuke on Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, if Iran killed 1 million Jews in Israel, have those leftists, those anti-Semitic, anti-Israel folks at universities, have they gotten so far from decency that they would applaud Israelis, Jews being killed by the millions in Israel? I wonder. I wonder if there would be a reaction like there has been in history, like there was in Germany when Jews were being killed. Well, they deserve it. They were the problem in this country. Rationalization is a great thing and it's a dangerous thing. People who were in Germany, who lived through the Holocaust, don't want to talk about it because they cannot believe that they got sucked in to that group dynamic that allowed them to be so inhuman and so calloused that they didn't care about the extinction of Jews in Germany. And I really don't know the answer if these anti-Israeli groups in universities that like to think they're diverse, but yet they come after and destroy anybody that attempts to debate them. Would they cheer if Jews and Israelis were killed by Iran? I hope they'll wake up to what's happening at these universities. But here again, love of money can be the root of all evil, and we see universities across this country getting more and more money from Middle Eastern countries that say, hey, and by the way, you need to teach a course on Islamophobia, or at least have a seminar. Talk about anybody that raises issues about radical Islam. You do like the author in the Washington Times, Hussein, that just lied completely about things that I'd said. Just lied. Made stuff up. Didn't do his homework. And yet those kind of things are being talked about and taught at universities.